Hey Photography Mafia, in this Darktable tutorial, you're going to learn how the RGB Curve module works and see how you can fit it into your photography workflow for better editing. So let's get started. This photo I took in front of me from the Canadian Rockies. It's unedited except for the default modules that Darktable applied. I'm first going to open up the RGB Curve by searching for it. And I mistyped it, so let me just type it correctly. Okay, so that looks good. So what's happening in this curve here? So this curve, it's a linear representation of the composite channel or the lightness of your image, including the RGB channels. And to better understand it, we can compare it to the histogram here. Histogram goes from shadows to highlights, or from the black point here to the white point here. Same thing that's happening in the RGB curve, goes from shadows to highlights, and we can also map the black point with this section right here or with this node, and we can map the white point here with this node. So remember, it's going from shadows to highlights, but it's representing it in a linear fashion. So to give you a different example or a different perspective, if we take a look at this histogram, you can see it's not fully exposed correctly. It's missing some of the highlights, or the white point is shoved to the left. I can turn on the logarithmic histogram. I can show it to you a little bit better here. So it's about this point right here. The composite channel ends around here, and then we have the red channel that ends around here. So let me just go back to the linear histogram. And what I can do is I can map the white point here by clicking, holding and dragging this to the left, and then I can move this histogram to the right, or the white point. So as you can see here. So one thing about this is when you're correcting exposure with a tone curve, you need to be careful of clipping as well. Sometimes you can eyeball it, or sometimes some clipping is okay. I'm going to make sure this clipping indicator is on, which it is. So let me just overdo it here. And I'll just introduce some clipping here. So this red section here, or the red overlay, that's highlight clipping. So let me just bring this back here. And it's the same thing with the blacks. If I want to map the black point, which I don't really need to in this case, looking at the histogram, but I'm just going to give you an example here. I can map this and I can make it darker. One thing is I don't see the blue overlay of the clipping indicator, so I can right click here and then change this lower threshold to -4 to make it look a little bit better and to show the shadow clipping. So let me just reset this RGB curve by clicking right here, and I'm going to just remove the clipping indicators because we don't need it for this tutorial. So a classic thing we can do is we can add the S curve. So we can decrease the shadows here. So this is darkening the image. So this part is getting darker, and then we can brighten the image right here. Just like that. So now this part is brighter. So this is the classic S curve. As you can probably see, the histogram is showing up. If I reset this, yeah, when I first opened this up, you couldn't see the histogram, but once I adjusted it, the histogram shows up. So let me just show that to you real quickly. I'll reset this, open up the RGB curve, and now you can see there's no histogram. It could be a glitch, I don't know. But once I introduce the nodes, I can start seeing the histogram. If I want to better see this histogram, I can click on Compensate Middle Gray. So it'll compensate this and map it out a little bit evenly. If I uncheck this or check this, this does not have an impact on the tone curve or the output value of the image. This is just a visual change of the histogram on the curve tool, which is fine. Now, so I have this S curve here. If I want to remove one of these nodes, I can right click on it. I can also double click on the curve to reset the entire image. We also have different ways of picking or trying to control where we want to change the tone curve or the lightness value, or what I like to say, luminance value. We can use this picker right here. And if I move this around, it's changing this line here. And then I can try to like darken this part or brighten this part. If I want to brighten this part without impacting other parts of the image, I'll need to add like another node. by clicking on the curve, bringing this down, and then clicking here and bringing this down. And then I can go to a different part of the image, and let's say I want to brighten this part right here. So this is almost at the black point, and that'll be pretty hard to brighten. So I would need to like reset this like that, and then just move this up. Actually, yeah, just move it up a little bit. So this is changing the output value. So when an image is like really underexposed, you may want to just slightly bump this up, as long as it doesn't wash out the rest of the image. In this case, it is washing it out. So it's probably best to keep some of the clipping or the dark spots here. Same thing with here. When I was mapping this and changing the exposure or the white point, it changes the input value. But if I want to change the output value and decrease the white point or the highlights, I can move it along the vertical axis or the y-axis. So let me just reset this again. And now we also have this picker tool here if I want to focus in on an area. So I just clicked on it and I can draw like a rectangle or a square here or here. And then I can focus in on this area. This is not a great example, so let me show you a smaller area right here. Let me try to pick something here. Okay, so this part here, it's selected this range here. If I want to try to control the range or the luminance values of this section right here of the shadows. So there's like these nodes that are automatically applied if I want to correct it like that. So I'm just going to double click on this curve and then I'm going to reset it. Then there's also the interpolation method. So this controls like the continuity or the smoothness of the curve. So let me put back the S curve here. And if I change the interpolation method to, let's say, cubic spline, the curve slightly changes it. According to Darktable and from what I see here, the cubic spline is the most common type of curve. When I look at other photography software, like the curve is a little bit more smoother compared to the monotonic. And let's take a look at the centripetal one. Yeah, so probably the cubic spline is probably the best one to keep it consistent, especially if you use a tone curve with photography apps on your phone. This will make it a little bit more consistent, the cubic spline one. And according to Darktable, as I said, this is the most visually pleasing. So let me just reset this interpolation method. And then we have the preserve colors as well. Since this one linear curve, or now it's an actual curve, it controls the RGB composite or the RGB channels. It needs to like map out or even out all of the RGB channels. So this controls like the mathematical calculation of how it's controlled or how it's calculated. So as you can see, if I go through these, the output is different. And I think usually average RGB is the most common one. Most tone curves and other photography software use, but luminance was the default that Darktable uses. So you may want to play around with that when you're using the tone curve. So I'm just going to reset that here. Up until now, we've been using the RGB composite tone curve. So when we're adjusting this curve, it's controlling the RGB channels or the individual RGB channels. One thing we can do is go to the independent channels. And now we have the red, green, and blue, along with their composite of cyan. And green has the composite of magenta, and blue has the composite of yellow. So if you want to do some fancy color grading or do some white balance correction, this is a good tool, the individual RGB channels, to use to correct the tone curve or the white balance or color grade your image. I'm just going to reset this quick here and go back to the independent channels. One thing you got to keep in mind with the independent channels is, as opposed to the RGB composite channel, which goes from shadows to highlights, this goes from cyan, the red channel goes from cyan to red. So if I move this left hand side and I change the input value, it maps in red. And if I change the input value here, it maps in cyan. And if I change the input value here along the horizontal axis, it maps in red into the highlights. But if you want to map in cyan into the shadows, red into the shadows, you need to pull this up. And if I want to map in cyan into the highlights, I need to pull this down or change the output. And the same thing goes for green and magenta and blue and yellow. It is a little bit confusing, especially to explain. So you kind of have to play with it and see how the input changes and the output changes to better color grade or correct the white balance of your image. So that's the RGB curve in a nutshell. It's pretty easy to use. It does look a little bit overwhelming if you haven't learned it before, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use. So I'm just going to reset this image here. The other curve that's available on Darktable is the regular tone curve, or their regular tone curve, which is right here. And this tone curve is a little bit different than the RGB one here because it's a lab curve. So to better explain it to you, this white or composite curve, it does pretty much the same thing, but let me reset this. And I'm going to go to the lab independent channels. So now we have the lab independent channel. So the LAB stands for, this is luminance, and A, usually A is from green to red, but in Darktable, in this color space, they have it from cyan to magenta, and blue is usually like blue to green, blue to yellow, which is normal, but this is a little bit different, or what I'm used to from what I read about the lab color space. And for example, if I map this in or out, nothing happens. But if I change this middle part here, now you can see the color changing. So it is a little bit confusing. This is not something I usually use. I just stick with the regular RGB curve when I'm doing some color correction or correcting the exposure of an image. And that wraps it out for our curve tutorial in Darktable. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And as always, live easy, sleep breezy, and stay lovely.